Hey, just run. So where were we? So they get moved up, right? That's fine. And then obviously like whoever comes in first, you just get them on shirts. Then the next person you get them onto pants and then jackets, right? That's the general progression. And I think you just leave the team and Russia doing what the fuck they're doing, which is sampling and cutting only, right? And supervision, QC, all that type of shit. Obviously, he's a bit more on form, and you need to get him better at fucking being less lazy. Like, I mean, after he cuts, he just kind of sits around and chills, right? He needs to be more like in people's faces about like QC. Like that whole problem with the QCing at the end shouldn't be the thing, right? The QC should be in the middle, so there's a greater chance of fixing something, right? Think about this here, right? Let's say someone fucks up something on the body, but we don't point it out until they finish the piece. That means the sleeves are wasted, right? At least the body could have just been replaced, but now the sleeves are also fucked.
So I think it starts with like first like standardizing like these products are reducing the variety of products, and then we can introduce like checkpoints. So like 30% of shirt is done the way they do it.
Oh, exactly. And that probably comes down more to the rest of the team, right? That when they reach a certain point, they go and get it checked by Russian, right? They have to get it checked. Because that's too hard to expect him to be like in their fucking balls about like where are you at all the time.
It's too hard to know by just looking. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and all of them do it in different structures, right? I've noticed that one of them will do sleeves first and then get it out of the way, right? And then the other one will start with the front body and then back body and then whatever. So they should have like, okay, the sleeves are done, the body is done. Can I move ahead and join everything together? Done, right? Even just one checkpoint in the middle is fine. But what do you have you thought about this thing about like how we have to potentially start doing this whole team outing shit again? Like we used to do it before all of you guys joined, like me, Russian, and the team, right? Like I would take them out for lunch or something, but now the team's bigger and like I kind of fell off of it. I think we should probably make a movie or something. Uh-huh. And I think also for the guys with kids, let them bring the kids as well. Yeah.
like once a month.
Yeah, yeah. Once a month, or like, or we can do like something chill once a month and something slightly bigger once a quarter, right? So maybe it's like maybe it'd be better and like, um, maybe the kids thing is like once a quarter, right? Like a bigger thing. You can bring your wife and kids to this one as well, right? And then the other ones is just the team specifically. Because at the end of the day, we can't just have them all get. That's the one downside of them bringing their kids and like wife, right? The whole thing will become like they'll just hang out with their wife and kids. Like they won't interact with each other, which is the goal of the whole thing, right? So what else from your side about next year?
And so from our side, like we should first of all the parties need to be in a very
Cards.
nice way, like
Yeah.
better paper and more explaining patterns.
Do you think that maybe until we get to the point where everyone is working on store product, and to get to that point where Rashid is heavily just cutting and QC, until then use his time as cutting and fixing all the patterns. So for example, we just get craft paper and see if Verma's willing to print on craft paper for us. And if he's willing to print on craft paper, we can do that. And then one pattern at a time, we go through with them. And we just label everything out, right? So that even if Kader has to pick up a fucking blue swan pattern, he knows this dot should be this way on the left sleeve and the dot should be this way on the right sleeve. Right? You can label that. I mean, maybe in that sense, it's better if you just do it on Illustrator and then get it printed, right? Because you might need to do it in Hindi to some extent.
Yeah, yeah. That's fine. But we should rather than having all the sizes in one paper, we should have
Yeah. And I also think one other point to that is that yeah, so we should go through and do this, and then with Rashid, when we get the time to label out all the patterns, just masking tape all the edges as well to prevent tears, and label as much stuff as you can. And well, I agree with you with the sizing thing. I think that'll become like a huge amount of volume of patterns to manage eventually someday. What I suggest you do for certain things is like, let's say the foreman's coat and the canvas boots is the same pattern, right? So print out four that are different sizes for sure. But the length that changes between formants and canvas, just let them freehand that part. Not freehand, at least
You have notches.
that 2 notches on that, right? That's what I mean. So you have size 1, 2, 3, 4, but they cover 2 different lengths, right? So it covers formants coat and blouson, and as a result, it would also cover the fleece hoodie because that's the same pattern, and then like the biker one would cover polyester pullover as well, and also fleece pullover as well, and then canvas pants would cover boom pants. It would cover. Cool. I was gonna say that I don't think some of the reels that we're making or some of the videos that we're making wouldn't translate very well to ads because they're too niche, right?
Yeah. Just the product.
Yeah, you need like a highly consumable format. Something along the lines of like what you were doing with that kurta spin with the sketch. Or even like in the gateway sketches that you do with the notes, like some of those formats made a little less avant-garde and made a little bit more instructional or like infographic type shit. That shit will kill. Oh, there's a bunch of these like websites where you can like even pull ads that are performing successfully for other people, and then you can use them as like a pattern to see, oh, design wise, this type of bold title works or this type of caption works or whatever. So we can figure that out. And the meta link and all that shit's always done, so that's fine. The meta link is done actually. Everything is perfectly fine and set up or checked. Canvas would sort of, in theory, sort of, if he does well this time, right? And we just have to. Polyester. Polyester is the hardware. I think let the differences be there for maybe the next year and then figure that out.
Plus, I think let's just let the stopwatch thing happen once and see how much demand there is.
Let me just send that message about that thing. Where the fuck is Mike? Oh. Shit, I'll do it then. Do we need to hire like a person who knows something about fulfillment? Because have you noticed, like that point that you made, right? That our stress level just goes through the fucking roof when we stop packing orders. Are we just too stupid to do that? Because the way I taught them to do buttons like a few years ago, it has its fucking benefits, and you can tell it's hand done because they do this thing. You've seen the way they do it, right? They put a needle, and it increases the gap, so it lifts off, and overall it makes the button stronger, and it's a much more like chill experience putting it through the thing. The buttons so it's a webbing that goes through the button, and then you stitch the webbing onto the garment. The button isn't stitched to the garment, so it's like a military thing where the entire webbing has to fall off for the shirt to become unfunctional, right? Look at that. But that's fine. But my point, we're still gonna release new shirt designs here and there, or kurtas or whatever the fuck, right? Because the kurta still has to be validated. And if we make a short kurta, all these types of things, like there still has to be some shirts. We're still gonna make cam collars ourselves as well. For now. Eventually, when we get to the point where it's killing it and we can give away everything, that's fine. But there still will be. We're talking about design. We're not talking about who the fuck is doing the production. We're talking about design specifically here, right? I'm just explaining that is the general look.
We'll have two designs, camp and normal, regular, right?
What about tunics?
Tunics will be
Inlet?
Tunics will be.
Fuck you. We're not talking about where it's being made. We're just talking about what the visual design language of the brand is for next year. I just don't want to deal with the bullshit of it. I'm happy to read the reports, but like my point is that you understand that customer isn't the customer that I'm trying to focus on at the moment. I'm not saying that customer should be ignored. I'm saying that you guys should cater to it, but let me focus where my skill lies, right? So, and at the end of the day, I still would like for you guys to make those things and for us to style the mainline products with those things. This is only going to help market your thing and help market our thing as well, right? So the same customer who comes in at your shirt can eventually graduate to our shirt, and the same customer who's buying our shirt can eventually buy those things that you and Karen are working on as basics. It's a Brutus. It's a all-round Brutus.
I think it's pretty much like a CD. Like half
The
the people
plaything.
don't even know the other language.
Yeah, the poem and whatever. Right? Yeah, exactly. So my point is that like I'm not talking about where it's going to be produced. We're specifically talking about design direction, like visual direction. So yeah, the number one is that is basically the look. So how do you define that look? It's a combination of workwear and sartorial, right? So essentially, we're just still taking that plan. We're dropping military. We will bring sportswear back into it somewhere, at some level, at some very minor level, right? So and obviously, there's also element of like traditional Indian in there as well, right?
Form wise, it's more drapey and structured.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's always consistent. We're just talking about like the school of garments that we're drawing inspiration from, right? So yeah, workwear and combined with sartorial and a little bit of sportswear, we will have to filter it in somewhere. Um, when you, because you started going to the gym and working out and shit, and I request that you do this now, that you start thinking about what a Garuda gym wear looks like, right? Because as much as I would like to do that shit, I'm not fucking working out, so I don't have like user experience, right? So start thinking about that, because I would love to cater to that person as well, um, and not even on like a financial level. Like I would just like to cater to that person because I think they deserve good shit as well. Because everything I see people who go to the gym wear is pure shit, right? And I feel like there is some blank element there that we can't cater to. Where, of course, we have to make the garments less volume because the volume is going to get in your way, right? So you can't have that much volume. But there is like maybe unique design elements, like for example, like you remember the Gyakasu shit, the undercover Nike shit, right? So that type of shit could come back, and then slight drape to it. And obviously we're good with technical fabrics already, so yeah. And then obviously bags as well. We should probably take bags a bit more seriously in the regular line because we take it seriously when they do collections. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Huh. Um, last thing for now is if you have to pick one big aspirational project that's not the Couture line, that is a new category. So obviously last year, what did we do? Inside photo. This year we did loafers. If you have to pick one aspirational category to enter, huh? Watch. Cool.
I don't know.
By end of year, we'll figure it out. Okay, sure.
Just on personal level, I focus on the world. Right?
Yeah, one and photo.